You learn a new word on a Tuesday, not a complicated word, just one you had never noticed before. Someone used it in a conversation and you asked what it meant, and they told you, and you moved on with your life. That was Tuesday. On Wednesday, the word is in an article you are reading. On Thursday, a stranger on the bus says it into their phone. On Friday, it is in the title of a podcast episode that has been sitting in your feed for 2 months. You never saw it before. Now it is everywhere. The word did not suddenly get popular. The world did not rearrange itself around a term you learned 48 hours ago. But your brain is quietly, absolutely certain that something changed out there. It did not. The thing that changed is in here. This is the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. Your brain learns something new and then it starts spotting it everywhere. Not because the thing became more common, because your brain just added it to the list of things worth noticing. Before Tuesday, the word was invisible. Not absent, invisible. It was there the whole time. In articles, in conversations, on signs. You looked directly at it and your brain threw it away. Now it has a label and labeled things get through the filter. The name itself is an accident. In 1994, a man in Minnesota posted a comment on the St. Paul Pioneer Press discussion board. He had heard the name Baader-Meinhof twice in 24 hours. The Baader-Meinhof Group was a German militant organization from the 1970s. Not something that comes up at dinner. He heard it once, thought it was odd, then heard it again the next day in a completely unrelated context. He found this funny enough to write about, and the name stuck. A frequency illusion named after a frequency illusion. The actual science came later. Arnold Zwicky, a linguist at Stanford, gave it a proper name in 2006. He called it the frequency illusion, and he described two forces working together. The first is selective attention. Your brain encounters something new and flags it. From that moment on, the new thing gets priority in your awareness. It moves from background noise to signal. The second force is confirmation bias. Every time you spot it again, your brain counts it as evidence. See, there it is again, 3 times this week. That cannot be a coincidence. Your brain is keeping score, but only in one direction. It counts the hits. It never counts the misses. It never tracks all the moments the word was absent, all the conversations where nobody said it, all the articles where it did not appear. Those moments are invisible because your brain does not flag things that do not happen. You have watched someone go through this. A friend buys a car, a specific model in a specific color, and within a week they are pointing at parking lots, saying it is everywhere now. They are genuinely confused. They are half convinced the dealership has some kind of agreement with the city to flood the streets the moment a purchase clears. They bought a white Mazda 3, and now every third car on the highway is a white Mazda 3. You smile. You know the car was always there. They are seeing it now because they spent 3 weeks researching it, test driving it, comparing insurance quotes for it. Their brain built a detailed file on that car, and now the file is open, and everything that matches the file gets a little spotlight. You know this because you did the same thing 6 months ago. Not with a car, with something smaller, a name. You met someone at a party, and the next morning you saw their name on a coffee cup at a cafe. Not their coffee cup. A stranger's coffee cup with the same name written on the side. Then a character in a show you started had the same name. Then a headline. You did not tell anyone about this because saying it out loud would sound like you think the universe is sending you signs about a person you spoke to for 4 minutes next to a snack table. But privately, quietly, some part of your brain noted it, filed it, wondered. That is the part that matters. Not the noticing, the wondering. The half second where your brain whispers that maybe this is not random. Maybe this means something. You dismiss it. Of course you dismiss it. You are a reasonable person. But the whisper happened, and it happens every single time. This is not a small glitch. It scales. In the 1990s, researchers studying medical students found that students who had just learned about a rare disease would begin spotting symptoms of that disease in patients at significantly higher rates than doctors who had learned about it years ago. The disease was not more common in hospitals that week. The diagnostic checklist was just fresher. The pattern was sitting at the front of the student's brain, and the brain did what it does. It matched, it found what it was primed to find. A patient with fatigue and mild swelling became a textbook case of something exotic because the textbook chapter was still warm. This is also how moral panics work. Someone publishes a story about a particular crime. A second case appears in the news. A third, people begin saying there is an epidemic. Politicians hold press conferences. Committees form. The crime rate did not change. The attention did. One story primed 1 million brains to notice the next story, and the next one, and the next one. Every new case felt like proof that things were getting worse. Nobody tracked the months before, when the same crimes happened at the same rate, and nobody noticed because nobody was looking. The Baader-Meinhof phenomenon feels like discovery. That is why it works. It feels like you are suddenly seeing the world more clearly, like a curtain pulled back, like something was hidden and now it is obvious. That feeling is real. The conclusion is wrong. You are not seeing more of the world. You are seeing the same amount of the world through a narrower filter. The filter lets through everything that matches your new thing and quietly blocks everything that does not. Your experience of reality did not expand, it contracted. But contraction that shows you more of one thing feels like expansion. It feels like awareness. It feels like you are paying attention for the first time. You are paying attention, just not to everything, to one thing, over and over. Tomorrow, you will read something, or hear something, or see something new. A word, a concept, a name, a place. Within 72 hours, it will appear again. Not because the universe is speaking to you, because your brain just built a filter and installed it without asking. You will feel that small spark of recognition. You will think, briefly, that it means something. You will probably dismiss it, but you will not be able to stop the spark. The spark is automatic. It runs below the part of your brain that knows better. Every pattern you think you're discovering was already there. You just were not looking.